Alright, today we're taking a look at a game called Spacechem. This is a puzzle game that defies explanation, so let's go ahead and get started here and just hop right in because that's really the only way to explain this game. So we are some sort of chemical engineer and we need to manipulate individual atoms to become a molecule that we're going to ship off to some output. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, so don't worry. It'll all become clear in a minute. And no, you don't need to know chemistry to understand what's going on in the game. So we have this grid in front of us that is 10 tiles wide, 8 tiles tall, and you can see there's these little quadrants here that are kind of different colors. They're little 4x4 grids. We have our alpha input, our beta input, our psi output, and our omega output. And you can see these all have their own designations. This is a hydrogen atom, this is a chlorine atom, and over here we have a hydrochloric acid molecule. So this is our output. This is what we're trying to build. And these are our inputs. So we need to take this hydrogen atom, combine it with this chlorine atom, and get this output. So you can see, we just need to put a bond in between these two atoms. That sounds pretty simple. But how are we going to do that? Well, the tool of choice for manipulating atoms in this universe is the Waldo. I don't think it's a real thing, but this is what it is. And we have this track we can move it around on. So we have a blue Waldo and a red Waldo. Right now let's just go ahead and build a track for this red Waldo, and let's watch what happens when we hit play. You see the Waldo moves around here on its track and just loops around. Okay, neat. But I didn't see any of those hydrogen atoms come in. Well, we can make them come in because we can place these commands anywhere on the Waldo's track, and when the Waldo runs over that command, it will execute that command. And so what we want to do is bring in the hydrogen atom. So we need to bring in the in command and put that right here. And say this is set to in alpha. So if we right click on this, we can get some more options. We can do in alpha or in beta using the red layer or the blue layer. So obviously we are interested in the red layer in the alpha input right now. So we'll do that. And then it's going to appear right here. So you see this is the 4x4 grid as indicated by this shade of gray. So it'll appear right here. And when it does, we want our Waldo to grab it. So let's go ahead and change this command to grab. And then, well, just for fun, let's go ahead and drop it off over here. Just to show you guys what this does. So it comes in, triggers it, grabs it, and then it's going to drop it. So let's see that again. It calls a new one in, it grabs it, and then it brings it over here. And if any two atoms collide, you get an error and you lose. So it's not a big deal to lose, you just have to start your simulation over. So that's not exactly what we want to do, so let's go ahead and delete this. This stuff looks good though, because we definitely need to grab this hydrogen atom. And we're going to want to do the same thing down here with this blue one, but we can get to that in a minute. Right now let's focus on getting our entire red track built out. So we need to get the hydrochloric acid down here into this pattern. So the way to do that would be just grab this, come over here, and by the way, you can use W, A, S, and D for these arrows, and then the other commands all have their respective keyboard shortcuts below them. So let's go ahead and move this track down here and over here, and we can drop our hydrogen atom here by using the drop command. So that looks like it will line up exactly with what we want it to be over here, and then it'll loop over and grab another one. So I think that's all set. Now if we hit tab, we can start making commands for our blue Waldo. Alright, so basically the same thing. We just want to come up here and grab this chlorine atom. Let's grab that. And let's move over to the side. And we're going to drop our chlorine atom right here. That'll be good. And don't forget we need a beta input. So when it hits here, it will trigger the spawning of this chlorine atom. It'll grab it and drop it off over here. Now, this path might be a challenge because if we drop this hydrogen molecule, or hydrogen atom first, it'll collide into it. So let's move this path upward a little bit. That way it'll go over it. Yeah, let's see what happens when we hit play here. It brings those in, grabs them, moves around. Oh, they collided right there. You know what? It probably would have been better if I just left this here. It looked like it would have made it, right? Run faster, Blue Waldo. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause this. So now we have our hydrogen atom and our chlorine atom, and they're in place, just like this says. Well, not quite, because atoms being close to each other isn't the same thing as them being a molecule. You're going to need to bond them together. And you can see here, there's this horizontal line between them. That's one bond. And we actually need to make that happen. So we'll hit stop here. And these are our bonders. We can put two of them next to each other. And any two atoms that are on these will be bonded together when we use our bond command, which is this thing right here, this little plus sign. And then once they're bonded, we want them to actually output, because otherwise we'll just keep running atoms into this over and over, and that won't be any good. So we're going to need to put in an output here, and that will flush the omega output. So let's go ahead and see what happens this time. These are going to come over, and you got to watch this carefully here. Drop them as soon as it hits the bond, they are bonded, and then we output them. So let's see if I can pause that a split second before... oh, no, see, that's not going to work. Our Waldos got out of sync because one of them's faster than the other because it's got a shorter track. So we need to make sure to sync them up. The easiest way to do that is just to use the sync command by putting it right at the exit. Well, not the exit, but the end of each of their respective tracks. So when one of the Waldos gets to the sync command, it will wait until the other one gets to its sync command, and then they will both start up again. So let's go ahead and try it this time. I'll try to pause this just after those things become bonded so you can see the bond. Oop. So you can see this bond got hit by the blue Waldo, and this bond is being formed right here. This Waldo has dropped the hydrogen atom. This has been created, but as soon as it hits, as soon as this blue one hits this output omega, that's going to go away. And now this has hit our sync, and it's going to stay there until the red one hits its sync, and it's going to move on. And you see we've so far put out 1 out of the 10, now 2 out of 10 molecules that we need to complete the mission successfully. So they're going to come by here again, drop that, bond them together, output them, sync, and go again. And then you can speed this up, and you can speed it up more, and you can speed up even more. So there you go, we can compare this to the rest of the world, and we can see this. You can see how this is everybody else, their number of cycles, how many reactors were used, and how many symbols were used. So yeah, I guess we did all right there. So this is just an introduction to get you acquainted with the interface and how things work and the basic idea of the game. I'll be playing some of the more difficult levels in the future, so make sure to check back. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video you just watched, and you should know that I have many more just like it here on my channel. I highlight games that follow the 5 I's: indie, innovative, intelligent, inexpensive, and insanely fun. Subscribe now to have a source for finding great games.